the EcoSport, the Nexon, the XUV 300 and the WRV. So it really is a packed field with fierce competition. The question is, has Nissan managed to recreate that magic from the global scale here in the sub 4 meter SUV segment for us Indians? Now this is a head-turning package, and this is especially true of the face, which that large grille gets flanked by those slim, sleek headlamps, all of which are LED encrusted on this top-end XP Premium variant, LED DRLs, and even the fog lamps tucked away down here look really cool. And the stance, as you can see, is more sleek and sporty rather than butch SUV. It wouldn't really surprise you to know that in terms of width or in terms of height, that this is one of the lowest in the segment. And if you look at the alloy wheels, the 16 inches that you have here, they look particularly sporty. The SUV quotient though is maintained by factors like the ground clearance, which is 205mm, and the wheelbase, which is nice and long and on par with other rivals in this segment. This flows really nicely, doesn't it? The way the spoiler juts out, the way the tail lamps are, gives it a really striking look. And it isn't just the completeness of the design, it's the thoughtfulness of the entire package that is impressive. A small little detail, like this rear windscreen wiper, is standard across the range. And since we are here, we might as well take a look at the boot, which is the second smallest in the segment, and this boot lip is also quite high. But if you're looking for more storage space, then opt for the higher variants of the Magnite, which come with 60-40 split back seats. And that wow feeling continues even on the inside. If you look at this cabin, it actually feels sporty as well here too, especially because of these aircon vents, which kind of remind us of Lamborghini. And if you look at just the layout of the dashboard, it's this layered dash with the center console tilted towards the driver, again adding a little bit of a sporty theme over there. And the way this floats on top looks nice. The switches are great. And if you look at the steering wheel on the top end version, which is leather wrapped, this feels chunky. The switches here feel good to use. So it has that premiumness about it. However, if you look closely at the fit and finish, you'll find that the panel fit isn't as good, and some of the plastics do feel a bit, well, plasticky.
Sure, it isn't setting new benchmarks in terms of quality, but it is good enough to be pegged alongside some of its popular rivals. On top of that, it has some added feel-good factor too.
The cabin is made richer thanks to the fabric upholstery on the door pads and the seats, which get leatherette trim as well on the top end variant, which look good and feel very supportive too.
Aside from that, you do get some segment first features like wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay connectivity that goes with a rich looking 8-inch touchscreen system.
And you also have a 360-degree camera, which is the first in the segment. However, the quality of the video is quite grainy and it really doesn't feel very useful. You could also opt for the tech pack on the top end variants, which adds features such as wireless charging pad, an air purifier, ambient lighting, puddle lights, and a JBL sound system. And if you're looking for connected car technology, then that is offered on the XV Premium Option variant, and that is the only addition there. And if you're looking out for more wow features, the Magnite does not have a sunroof or cooled ventilated seats. And you can see that there are some cost-saving bits as well around the cabin in terms of features like the IRVM, which is a simple manual type. When it comes to storage spaces inside the cabin, the Magnite has plenty. You get a slot which doubles up as the wireless phone charger. There's a slot beneath that to store knickknacks or another phone. And there are, of course, the cup holders, one of which is to be used up by the air purifier. But the big plus is the glove box. It's 10 liters and is really large. Aside from that, you get door pockets which are generously sized both in the front doors and the rear doors. Now there is a big surprise inside the cabin, and that's to do with its dimensions. Now on the outside we said this was the narrowest in the segment, so Nissan engineers have done an incredible job to scoop out space on the inside. First and foremost, just take a look at the knee room. This is set to my driving position, but even if there was a 6-footer here, we tried, I still had plenty of room here, and I could be comfortable because the under thigh support is good. There's plenty of foot room to push your feet forward so you can sit really comfortably, and there's plenty of headroom as well. On top of that, the width on offer is impressive too. You could see 3 adults here in the back without feeling terribly crunched and manage city trips quite comfortably. And if that isn't all, there are small details that Nissan has thought of too. You get adjustable headrests for all 4 occupants across all variants. Yes, the middle passenger doesn't get one. However, a small bit of convenience, you get an armrest with 2 cup holders and a place to store your phone. Air conditioning vents for the rear passengers are offered only on the higher variants of the Magnite, and there is also a 12-volt socket for you to charge your devices there. No, there is no USB on offer.
So, what about the real specs?
So, what's under the hood? Petrol power. Only petrol power. The 1-litre naturally aspirated engine on offer with the Magnite is available across all the variants, and this is available only with a 5-speed manual transmission. The highest spec engine is the 1-litre turbocharged engine. This is a different engine from the NA, and this one is offered with a 5-speed manual transmission or a CVT, and this is available from the XL variant onwards. Now for test here today, we have only the turbocharged petrol engine on offer with the manual transmission and the CVT gearbox as the other option. First things first, this engine feels way more refined than the 1-litre naturally aspirated engine which we've also experienced on Renault Striber, which does feel quite noisy and a bit gruff. So that is one big plus, and along with that, this engine is also much smoother to drive. It has no prominent bump up in torque or power delivery because of the turbocharger, which makes it easier to use even in the city. And this is especially important if you're picking the manual, which has just 5 ratios, so you can leave it in 3rd gear and amble around. It won't be the zippiest drive, but it will be something that's really easygoing. And if you head out onto the highway, you'll find that it has enough punch to travel long distances comfortably, quickly.
Nissan claims a 0 to 100 time of 11.7 seconds. That is quick. On top of that, this combination also claims the highest fuel efficiency in this segment.
But if you choose the CVT, and that is a strong pick for us because it is a responsive gearbox, so whether you're driving in the city, it feels smooth, comfy and responsive, or you're out on the highway, it offers you good punch there as well, using the steps in the CVT transmission to give you the responsiveness as and when you need it.
You got that right, there is no rubber band effect.
It's worth noting that with the CVT transmission, torque is capped to 152 Newton meters, whereas with the manual, it's 160 Newton meters.
And when coupled with the sport mode that makes the engine more responsive, the Magnite can go from 0 to 100 in 13.3 seconds for this combo.
The Magnite impresses on another front, and that's with its Indian rough road ability. It really has a suspension that soaks up potholes, broken roads, undulations very well. It also has good high-speed stability, which means when you're traveling long distances, you can do so comfortably in this sub-4 meter SUV. But if you're planning to drive a little enthusiastically around the corners, I'd suggest you dial things back a bit and just drive at a more sedate pace, because that's where you'll find the suspension starts to feel a bit soft and the Magnite tends to roll around a bit.
The light steering also creates a disconnected feeling.
But the good thing is you do get safety systems in place, especially on all the turbo variants, which includes VDC, you get hill assist, and you get traction control. And talking about safety, the Magnite is offered with dual airbags as standard. Nissan could have offered 4 airbags at least on the Magnite, like Renault does on the Triber, at least on the top-end variants. So, has Nissan brought that magic touch to India with the Magnite? Let's weigh things up. On the outside, it looks striking. Misses a bit of the SUV quotient, but we can let that slide. On the inside, the cabin is hugely surprising when it comes to practicality because of the space on offer, the spaciousness for the occupants, and really the comfort it offers. In terms of features, it is well equipped, and where it really misses out is in terms of that sense of premiumness, in terms of the design or just the finish of the plastics in some areas where other rivals have set high benchmarks. And when it comes to driving, well, the engines are really sensible. 100 horsepower from a turbo petrol might sound exciting, but this is an engine that offers you good usability, and the one that we'd pick would be the CVT because of the ease of use. On the manual, the clutch is a bit heavy and the gear shifts are a bit notchy. And when it comes to rough roads, the Magnite shows that it is really well suited for our road conditions. So this package really has lots of sensible quotient about it. And if it really had to wow us, it would have to work a little bit harder on each of those fronts to get it a little bit more spit and polish, especially the fit and finish. But Nissan is planning to wow us in one of the most Indian ways possible, and that's with a killer price tag.
Interested? Well, then you better get hunting, because the stumbling block here is Nissan's limited sales and service network. When it is launched, we expect the Nissan Magnite to undercut the competition with prices starting well below 5.5 lakhs. This could redefine what value for money really means and make the Magnite an all-new disruptor in this segment.
पैंतीस
इनमें से कुछ भी नहीं बिका सर।
क्या सेल करेगा जिमी? 20 साल में कभी ऐसा नहीं देखा है। नो कस्टमर्स, नो सेल।
कार देखो गाड़ी पे होम इंस्पेक्शन बुक करो और कार बेचो ऑफिस, घर या कहीं से भी और पाओ बेस्ट प्राइस, क्विक पेमेंट, फ्री आरसी ट्रांसफर एंड डॉक्यूमेंटेशन। आज से तुम यहाँ पे वेटर नहीं, डिलीवरी बॉय भी। अभी जाओ। कार देखो गाड़ी पे होम इंस्पेक्शन बुक करो और बेस्ट प्राइस पे कार बेचो कहीं से भी। गाड़ी फॉरवर्ड तो इंडिया फॉरवर्ड।